Week series called Trials and Temptations. Last week we talked about the trials part. This comes from James chapter 1. That's where we'll be today and tonight. James chapter 1. And last week we talked about that James was writing to some Jewish Christians who have been scattered out from Jerusalem because of a persecution that took place in Jerusalem. And so if you've ever had puzzle pieces and dumped them out and they just scattered out, it's kind of the way the Christians had to be in this time. Paul was going from house to house and dragging people out and putting them into prison. So if he got close to somebody's house, they probably had to just pack up things and leave in the middle of the night and take off to another land, make a new home where they didn't know people, a strange place. And so they're out there, they're scattered, they're believers. They know they may be persecuted for their faith, and James writes this book to encourage them. And last week we talked how he started off addressing the ideas of trials and hardships, and he said three things to them. He said, count it all joy in these trials, because you should know that God uses trials and hardships to help you grow, to make you more like Jesus. He also said, and when you undergo those, you should ask for wisdom. Now, wisdom is being able to see things like from God's point of view, with God's mind, how God sees things. And so in trials, if we ask for wisdom in trials, that would be, God, help us understand what you're doing. What are you wanting to teach me? What do you want me to do? What path are you leading me down? So James said, ask for wisdom during trials and hardships. And the third thing he said, remember the finish line, the end goal. He used in this passage the crown of life. When you've endured, you'll receive the crown of life. And I shared that this reminds me of my favorite verse, Romans 8:18, that says, I count all the sufferings of this world, that they don't even compare to the glory that will be revealed to us in that day. And so James is saying, you know, I know you're going through hard times. This is difficult times because of your faith. But, man, the reward for your faith, these hardships don't even compare to how great your reward will be. So James